Welcome to Thoughts in the Glass podcast. I'm Latoya.
And I'm Kendra.
Hey, this is a weekly podcast where we share our unfiltered thoughts and opinions on a variety of topics.
So sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and join us on a conversation of real, raw, and ridiculously funny commentary.
Period. Every week we do a drink of the night. Kendra, what is the drink tonight?
So, of course, you all know this is the first recording of January. Ooh. Happy New Year to you all. We've made it to 2026. Anyway, of course, you know January we always do dry January just to kind of get the new year started. Sometimes you have these resolutions of dieting and things like that, so we make it a little bit easier on everybody by not having any alcoholic beverages. This non-alcoholic beverage, we were able to find, and it's nice to have stuff like this because if you're in a situation where you don't want a whole big thing of like the non-alcoholic gin or things like that, this is cute. It's in a nice small can. Have a time. So this is called Naked Life Classic Gin and Tonic Non-Alcoholic Cocktail. Super easy to make. I just put ice in a glass. For us, we just split it because we're both not really gin and tonic drinkers anyway. And gin and tonic, you usually have lime with it. So I just added a splash of lime juice, and that's it. Very easy to make.
Cheers. I like it.
It gives gin and tonic on Splenda.
Yeah. I was
Very
gonna say,
like
so there's something
it's very
because
Splenda esque.
because it's not real alcohol. There is like a little aftertaste of something
Yes.
artificial.
Yes.
And I think that's why
Yeah.
you're saying the
It's very
Splenda thing.
Splenda esque.
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
you do get a hint of something in the background.
Yeah.
But I hope that description doesn't turn y'all off because it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's refreshing.
Yeah.
But it don't taste like juice.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like it tastes like you're having a little drink.
Yeah, because you have the tonic is really what makes you feel like you're having a little something.
Yeah.
You taste the gin when you have gin and tonics, but the most thing you taste is the tonic. Now, if you're someone who is like, oh, I want that, but I want a little bit of something. Like you don't want a whole lot of gin.
Mm-hmm.
You want something to fill your glass up. So you want to taste something. So you could do this, half of this, and like a little bit of gin,
Mm-hmm.
and then you could also mix it. So adding a little bit of gin, but then you can add like grapefruit or different
Yeah.
type of like the sparkling to
Mm-hmm.
kind of give you a different taste.
I like that we added a little lime to it too, cause that brightened it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
How was your week?
The week was good. I tell you what, I would have really had like doing off last week.
Mm.
The weekend went by so fast. I have decided that, which I'm glad to do. Like I started grocery shopping on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
so that on Sunday we can get up and get started. Cause I don't like cooking and shopping the same day.
Yeah, cause you get tired from shopping.
Exactly, and
Mm-hmm.
now we're going to McDonald's because for what?
Right.
So I went grocery shopping, and then Sunday I was able to get up. I made chicken noodle soup, fried pork chops, potato, baked potato, broccoli, and we're doing chicken tacos.
Mm-hmm.
So on the menu moving forward on Saturday morning, excuse me, or Friday night, we choose what we're having for the week, and then I put all the ingredients of what we need and what else like juice and all of the other stuff. But you pick every day what you want from that menu, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you don't tell me the night before, you don't get nothing.
Yeah.
Like I think this has worked out. Like we started this last week, and it's just made things so much easier because by the night before, unless they're getting soup the night before, everything's already packed and ready to go. Because that is the thing that has taken the most time
Mm-hmm.
in the morning is really like packing lunches and stuff. Because everything else is already done. Clothes is already
Yeah.
washed. Everything's laid out. So it's that part. But other than that, it's been slow. You know how the holiday week goes.
Yeah.
Um, that's about it. The kids be doing stuff, ripping and running back and forth. That's the life.
I My week was also good. I didn't mind being at work.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't. Uh, Everybody. So it seems like people like it seems like this holiday season has still been busy. Like people have still been working.
Yeah.
So I know, and then so a part of it is too, right? Like working for the government, we have a possible another furlough coming at the end of the month, and so for me at least, it's been a lot of let's try to hurry up and get stuff done
Yeah.
before they try to shut it down again.
Yep.
And so that's what I think was has made these last couple of weeks still busy, even
Yeah.
though it's been like holiday,
Yeah.
but it's still been busy. But I don't mind it. I haven't minded it. I guess because the biggest thing, I've always said this, the biggest issue I have is my commute. And so because a lot of people have been on vacation or taking leave and stuff like that, I haven't had a bad commute. I don't have an attitude when I get to work.
Yeah.
Now that I don't have a, well, these last couple of weeks,
Yeah.
I'm
The
pretty
commute has
sure
been.
next week is going to get back to normal. But since we didn't have a bad commute, I didn't mind being at work and
Yeah.
actually doing work.
Yeah.
So that was my week. What did I do? Oh, I had book club. This was
Mm-hmm.
after after New Year. So my book club, we ended up pushing our holiday celebration to the beginning of the year because everybody with
Yeah.
Christmas and all of that.
Yep.
So we did our white elephant gift exchange. That was cute. The book we read was Razor Razor Blade Tears by this is a popular author, and a lot of people have been really getting S.A. Crosby. A lot of people have been getting into his books.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good book,
Mm-hmm.
but it really challenged me because one of the main plots was so it's two fathers who are avenging the death of their gay sons,
Mm-hmm.
and the gay sons are in a relationship with each other. And so one of the sons is white, one of the sons is black, and so the fathers are one's white, one's black. But it talked about and delved into how these two men from two different cultures are both dealing with the acceptance of their gay sons, because the fathers were not accepting of it while the boys were alive.
Right.
And so now that they have passed, they have to come to grips with it in order to try to find out what happened to their sons.
Yeah.
And so it was a little bit heavy in that sense, but it was a really good book. That's
Nice.
a good author. He keeps you entertained, or like,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good book, but it did challenge me. And I have been, so me personally, I will push myself. Like if I feel like I'm having some limited views around something, I'll push myself and be like, why are you feeling like that? Like that's, you need to kind of figure that out and understand where that's coming from. And so that book really challenged me. I also watched, I don't know if you've been seeing this on your algorithm, but everybody has been raving about the rivalry. What's it called? Something rivalry.
Oh man, on my time, not baby.
So this is also a it's about two gay men. Um and this one was very sexual. Heated rivalry. So this is on HBO. I think a lot of people have been talking about it. Heated rivalry. I think it's 8 episodes. It's based on a book. I didn't read the book, but it's about two hockey players who, are working through their sexuality and their and having to hide their relationship. But they're also on major rival hockey teams.
Okay.
Yeah. That one also challenged me. It was a good show. The crazy thing about it is it was a good show. And I kept having to ask myself, if this were a man and a woman, would you feel so uncomfortable watching it? And it's like, no, but because it's two men, it did make me feel so uncomfortable. And so I watched it because it was a good show, but I really like all of the times where they were having intimate scenes. And it wasn't like showing, I mean, it showed some stuff, but it wasn't showing like
vulgarly.
Yeah. But I had to really sit with myself and say, just because you don't like it, why does it bother you? because you could see two dogs humping and that doesn't bother you. But to see this, it's like stirring up feelings. And I just,
You know what I think sometimes though? I think it's not foreign to you,
yeah,
right? Because that's the life that you lead.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So when something is kind of foreign to you, I ain't supposed to be even seeing this. That's your
Yeah,
business.
like that's your business.
Right, right. I mean,
Yeah.
that's too much. Like for me, I don't like it either way.
Mm.
I'm not a fan of seeing women, men and women, women and women. I don't. That's that. I'm a little bit more prudesque
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to that's your bedroom business. Why am I in your bedroom? And I think even with dogs and stuff, get off of them. What you doing? That is private time.
But it don't,
So
like, if you've ever watching like National Geographic and you see like the animals doing whatever, I don't get this feeling of like, ugh. But when I see that, I be like, ugh.
I
I don't
think it's
want to
just what
see
you're used to.
it.
So if you're used to seeing or knowing these things, like stuff that we've seen as kids, it's like we get so used to it. I think it reminded me. So like, have you ever, which is very foreign to us, like if you see a child acting out,
Yeah,
and it stirs like
that
why
is
is
true.
that
That
like
is true.
why is it stirring
Like, why
something
somebody
in
need to get that child?
it's stirring something
Yeah.
up. Why does that? And you're like, why is that bothering you? Because that's not your norm. So
Mm-hmm.
seeing that is like something is amiss. That's not what you're used to. But if you see a parent reprimanding that child, something inside you gives you glee.
Yeah.
Because you're like, now that's how you do it. Because that's what you've been used to. So I
That
think
is
some of
true.
it is just things that make you uncomfortable can be because you're just not it's not a part of your
Yeah.
normal.
And I think it's not as socially accepted because I remember when I watched Hunting Wives and it was a lot of lesbian stuff going on, and that kind of, I was like, here we go. But it wasn't as uncomfortable as this, and I think it's because we have been more socialized to accept
Yes.
lesbian relationships and less socialized to accept gay relationships. And so, or even not even relationships, but interactions in general.
Yeah.
But like I said, I try to challenge myself in ways where I feel like I need to open up my mind a little bit more because
Yeah.
the reality is this is our new norm.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people are in these relationships and they deserve representation, right? If they want to have a TV show about what they got going on, they should. And for me personally, outside of the intimate scenes, it was a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to hold myself accountable in a sense where y'all know I'm always advocating for if black people are doing something, nobody ever wants to give us the credit, right?
Yeah.
And so this was an area where I had to hold myself accountable of like, this is a LGBTQ thing, but it's a good show. I can't deny it. I want to know what happens next.
Yeah.
And the only reason why you wouldn't continue watching it is because you have an issue with the two men that are in a relationship. That's not necessarily fair.
Yeah.
Like the writing is done well,
Yeah.
the acting is done well, the plot is good. You gotta get past that because now the thing that you want other people to do for you in your community, you're struggling to do it for another community.
Well, that's not my plight because as good as what's the show that 50 Cent had with Ghost in them?
Power.
The first couple of seasons because it was too explicit for me, and it was very much so woman and man thing.
Yeah, it was.
I said I won't watch that.
I ate it up.
I won't watch. So for me, I am across the board.
You don't want to see it at all.
I don't need to see that. Yeah. That's your bedroom time.
So anyway, that's what I'm reading and what I'm watching. I recommend Heated Rivalry. It was good if you can get past that.
So first thing I want to talk about before we get into the main. Have you seen on the Tickety Talk the homeless man upset and basically saying because I'm homeless, can I not get a little top in the morning? Because I'm homeless, can I not get fed a home cooked meal? Because I'm homeless, do I not deserve love? All this, that, and the fourth, right? And have you heard of the term hobosexual?
Yes, I have heard that.
So they were like, he is a hobosexual. He don't have nothing. And so it's so many people that's coming out. This trans woman said something, black women, just women across the board, right? And they're like, no. Focus on what you need to be focused on. Why is that your main concern?
That's the first thing that came to my mind. We focusing on the
you
wrong thing.
You worried about the wrong thing.
You really worried about the wrong thing.
But the thing is, and this kind of steers into like some of the topic, I don't understand. The goal of men is unmatched, okay? The level of, what?
Audacity?
The audacity of the audacity It's crazy work. And the unfortunate part is you have women, and I think that they have this audacity because you have women who do this. Ends up happening to women, right? Oh, the dude's living at his mom's house or whatever, and then all of a sudden he come live with you, and so he has left, does not have his own home, so technically he would be an unhoused person, right? He doesn't have his own stuff.
Yeah.
So we do that all the time. Oh, come stay with me. I got my own place, and it's like, oh, he cooks, he cleans up, he does that and the four. And I wonder if it's so a little bit more like clutch my pearls because you don't even got your mama house to go to. You like,
Yeah.
and it's so crazy to me that, and I think this is what happens because we've allowed it so much. Now they can say it out loud, and now it's like, oh, I'm like, but we've been doing that. You've been saying, oh, he don't have a place, or he just need to get away from his ex-wife, or he need to leave his baby mama house because if he want to get up out of there, but he don't have the means or the finances to get his own, so he could just come stay with B. I don't know why we are so up in arms when we literally have allowed this.
I mean, I'm appalled, but I also feel like this is, to me, an example of not dating within your own social economic standard,
Yeah.
right? Because you can feel like that, absolutely 100%. But that's a conversation you have with a woman who is at the same level that you're at.
Right.
You know what I mean? If we are engaging in some type of relationship dynamic and we're both unhoused and we're both maybe living in an encampment, then I could talk to you about can I get some top in the morning.
But this is the thing.
But that's not a conversation you have with somebody who's not on that level with you because, you know, like we got other things we need to be worried about.
But the thing is, the mindset of men are, well, why wouldn't you lower your standards? We get that all the time. Well, just because you're a six-figure making woman, you telling me you wouldn't date somebody that's only making 50,000, or you only, so it may be someone who's making 30,000, maybe has got able to get her own place, still, you know, under the margin, but it's like the next step could be being unhoused. So, oh, you think you better than me because you got a place. You don't think I deserve. So I think sometimes, and a lot of times the women that respond are up here, and I think the
like
women,
he not talking to them.
He really not talking to them. He's like, girl, you also on food stamps.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You also are so you telling me that it's too much for me to come and be in your space? And I think it's just appalling more that it's being said aloud. But it was kind of like the uproar. I get it. And I know who's the ones that are mostly saying something. Because I don't hear any, and I haven't seen all the videos, but I haven't seen from like any other women. I don't care if I'm on food stamps. I don't care that I'm on Section 8. I'm not housing no man that don't have his own, at least trying to get his own, whatever. I haven't heard or seen any of those type of videos. Now, I don't know everybody's circumstances, but it just doesn't seem that way.
Yeah.
It seems like more women that are upper class, not upper class, but have a lot more going on for themselves.
So this is making me think about two different things. So on the one hand, in this current climate, in this society, when it comes to love and relationship and sexual encounters, those things have become conditional. We have moved away from, I'm doing this just because I love you, I'm doing this just because I want to feel good or whatever. We've really moved away from that, and those things have become conditional. So when he says, well, just because I don't have this, does that mean I can't get this? And this society that you're living in now, and this dynamic for most people, yes, it does mean that. Because we have connected conditions to, if I'm going to expend that kind of physical energy, that kind of emotional energy, I need to be getting something in return, regardless of what that may be, right? And then the other side of the conversation is this. There are some people who will just want to express that I just want somebody to sleep with. You ain't got to offer me anything. But people don't want to, like those kind of people that are in that space, a lot of times, I think people don't want to do it because they're worried about how it's going to look. They're worried about, either you go where there is no conditions and then you don't worry about what people have to say about it, or you go where there's conditions if you want the traditional societal acceptance of what you're doing. Right. You know what I mean? Because in all honesty, why can't you do 2 for 1? You could be selling dick, and now you getting your top in the morning, and you have some resources. But you want somebody to just do that just because of what?
And so his thing is, I clean. I'm a very like romantic person, and this, that, and the fourth, or whatever. And I guess my thinking, I think that it's fine. He can feel how he feel. He can want what he want, because there are many a men who are doing this currently, and women who are cool with it. Like, oh, he dropped me off in the morning.
But those women feel like they're getting some. Even if we would look at their situation and be like, he ain't doing shit, she feels like she's getting something out of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So he's saying, I can do all of the things. I'll be home. I can clean up. And what I was alluding to is like, oh yeah, he has my car, but he takes it to the car wash.
Yeah.
Or he drops the kids off and this, that, and the fourth. And I think because he's saying it in a way of receiving first and saying, but I am this kind of guy. I am romantic. I'll make sure the house clean. I'll also cook. His exchange is being around and doing some of the manly things. I'll take out the trash, stuff like that. And there are women that are cool with just that. I think what happens is the gall of saying it out loud. No, like, I choose if I'm allowed you to do this.
Yeah.
You don't be like, oh, why can't I have this? First of all, relax. But what he's saying is happening all over.
Again, there's a level of societal acceptance.
Yeah.
I think we don't want to accept it. You have to package it in a way that's acceptable to people. Just because people are still living that lifestyle is packaged in a way that's acceptable to them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think what it is, that's what I mean. I think the uproar is just the fact that you have the gall to come up on Beyonce's internet and say some bullshit like that.
I mean, say it
so crass.
Yeah, so plainly. You know, I say this to Judah a lot of times. He'll be like, I don't want the bullshit. And I'm like, but a lot of people need it.
Yeah.
A lot of people need the nice rapping. A lot of people, they need the bullshit in order
to be able to accept the present.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, on to our main topic. So throughout the year, we always talk about relationships. And why not start the year with that? Okay, yeah. Indeed. A lot of times in the beginning of the year, mostly at the end of the year, people are looking for these grandiose gestures of in their relationship. More often than not is if you have been in a long-term relationship, marriage. If you are first starting to date, going to meet my family. Now, these are the big holidays. Are we spending it together? Valentine's Day is coming up. Am I the February 14th or am I the February 15th person? You know what I'm saying? So it's all of these questions. We have had several conversations with different people about like ultimatums. Like, it's the beginning of the year. Also, people have had these with their relationships.
Like goals. Like how this do you want your relationship to look?
Right. Yeah. Moving forward in 2026 or, you know, the new year. What is your thoughts on, first, people having these grandiose expectations for like engagements and things like when it comes to like major holidays? And why is that a big thing?
Yeah, so this is perfect timing because like we have had conversations about this, and I know a few people who have been in these long-term relationships, and I don't want to say every year, but like when you're in a relationship and it's like year 3 and you're like, oh, I think, you know, this is it, and then it doesn't happen, and then it's like year 4, then it's year 5, and now it's like, okay,
what's tea?
Yeah, because why didn't I get a proposal? Right? I understand that, and I feel that, and I feel like, I guess the thing about the holidays is that it signifies, it basically is the, I don't want to say barometer, but it is kind of like the checkpoint for the year. Yeah. It's especially like most of our holidays fall at the end of the year. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, those are the checkpoints.
It's kind of like the last lap before we end this race. Yeah. When you gonna do it? Right. So when is the jets kicking in?
Right. So if you've been dealing with somebody and you started at the top of the year, y'all have gotten through Valentine's Day. You know, y'all have gotten through Mother's Day if you have kids. Y'all have gotten through, you know, Memorial Day. We spent 4th of July together. Yes. We we went somewhere for Juneteenth. You know,
the summertime has happened.
Right. Labor Day, we took a long weekend trip. You know,
we've done
Halloween,
the things.
We doing matching costumes.
Right. We've done things.
I feel like these big holidays at the end of the year, like you said, is kind of the last lap, or really like these are touch points to say like, hey, We've been through all the seasons.
Yeah.
This is a time where families already coming together,
Yep.
where we already have kind of the table prepared
Mhm.
for you to do something. If you were going to make a move, this would be the
This is the
time.
opportune time for you to do so.
And I think for those that don't get that engagement or that, baby or whatever it is
Mhm.
relationship wise that you're looking for to like the next level, like that house or whatever. For those that don't get that, I think when you go through a holiday,
Mhm.
it's a reminder that you
Mhm.
didn't have it.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
like we start to see people
And
get
you see it on the
you
socials.
exactly. You start to see all
Oh,
over your socials, like
girl.
all of the people that got engaged, all the people that got their new house, all the people that got their new puppy, all the things. And you're looking at your situation, and it's like,
And so what we doing?
what are we doing?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's I won't blame it on the holiday per
Mhm.
se, but
Mhm.
I do think that is a time where people are now reflecting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we've been through all the seasons. And I think winter is naturally a space of like reflection mode.
Yeah.
I think people are reflecting, and when you don't see the evidence of what you have been doing all year,
Mhm.
it does send you into that. So now, right? So we transition, we get into the new year. I think it does put you in that headspace of it's a new year. I'm setting my resolutions, I'm
Yeah.
setting my goals, I'm getting myself together. I need to get this relationship together too.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that, what happens? So you go. So Christmas has come. So this is the last. New Year's has now happened.
Mm-hmm.
There has been no engagement. There has
Mm-hmm.
been no progress into what you want. Now it's 2026. What do you think about ultimatums? Ultimatums on a relationship where you feel like you've done all of the things, right? You have done the self-help books, you have done the, relationship check-ins, you have done the, you know, therapy. Like everybody has done the things. Like all of the things that you say you need to do before you be in a relationship outside of like marriage counseling because you ain't engaged. You've done all of the things. So, what are your thoughts on okay, sitting your partner down saying, "Hey, we have now entered into a new year. We've done all of the things. If a proposal is not done now, and then what is your time frame? So do you say if a proposal is not done by in 6 months, or if a proposal is not done by the end of next year, let's call it quits."
It's tough, right? Because I can imagine, like we know some people personally,
Mm-hmm.
and I can just imagine globally, lots of couples are sitting down having this conversation,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah.
And if we're not where we need to be in X amount of time, what are we doing, right?
Right.
But it's hard because I'm not. I mean, I know that it happens on both sides, but for
Mm-hmm.
sake of conversation, I'm just gonna throw it out there that I feel that it's mostly the men that are dragging their feet.
Oh yeah.
Um, and y'all,
More often than not, not all
yeah,
of the time, but more
do
often
with
than
that
not.
what you will. But
Yeah.
for the sake of this discussion, I'm gonna be gender specific.
Okay.
I think that a lot of times for women, when we've come to this place where we know what we want to do, we know what direction we want to go in, whether that be the best thing for us or not, because I think sometimes we can have these ultimatums and it's not the best decision, but
Yeah.
we feel like it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
You have this man on the other side who doesn't feel that same pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the fight is you have one person that's like the clock is ticking,
Yeah.
and then you have the other person that's like, what's the rush?
Right. I got all the time in the world.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think first, for me, I think first that has to be addressed. Like our different timelines have to be
Mm-hmm.
addressed.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe there needs to be a compromise, right? But the conversation of, A, for that woman, why are you on a timeline? Or like, what does that mean to you?
Mm-hmm.
And then for the man, why is your timeline so lax? And what does
Mm-hmm.
that mean for you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think I'm just supposed to
Hang around.
hang around and sit
Yeah.
around for the next 10, 15, however many years?
Yeah.
And then for that woman, like, why do you feel like because it's been 10 years and nothing has happened, why do you feel like it needs to or it has
Mhm.
to?
Mhm.
And I'm of the opinion of after a certain amount of time it does need to happen. Like,
Mhm.
I would say this, I think age matters. So I think
Mhm.
when you're younger, I'll say anything below 30,
Mhm.
we you could go from about 5 to 8 years
Yeah,
in
because
the
you're learning
in the
yourself. You,
dating
yeah, yeah,
space.
yeah,
30 and up, 3 years
yeah.
max. Because you're grown, that frontal lobe is fully developed.
Yes.
You have done the things, you've experienced 30 years of life, you've gone through phases. You're in a space now where it should not take you more than 3 years
Mhm.
to know
Mhm.
if you
This is
want to
right.
commit to someone.
Spending time. This different.
Yeah. Now, people on different, that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
People are on different timelines, they're on different, but if we have a conversation and I'm talking with my partner and we have a goal, if the man is saying, "Look, I know you want to do this. Give me 2 years to save up some money."
Mhm.
Or, you know, I got some debt that I need to work off. Give
Yeah.
me some time to work off that debt. Or I'm pursuing a degree.
Mhm.
Give me 4 years. Let me graduate and then we can. I'm for that.
Mhm.
Or even like, hey, I got kids, in 5 more years they'll be 18 and I don't have to deal with my baby mother no more. Like, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I can understand those type of cut clear cut what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. But when you're talking about time is
Mhm.
what I mean. Like
Mhm.
like
That clear cut timeline.
yeah,
This
like
year,
a
this year,
clear
that year.
cut
Yeah.
timeline. Yeah. I can understand that when you have certain markers that you're trying to meet and those
Mhm.
markers have a time attached to
Mhm.
it,
Mhm.
that makes sense to me.
Mhm.
And if two people in a relationship decide, okay, this is the timeline that we're going on because we're waiting for this to happen, cool. What I have a problem with is, let's use the example of a man has kids. Maybe he has a tough relationship with the baby mama.
Mhm.
He's waiting for the kids to turn 18 and they're 15 right now. So he's
Mhm.
got 3 more years.
Mhm.
What I have an issue with is when we get to that 3 year mark, they're 18 now, and there's another excuse. So you
Yeah.
had me sit up here and wait because you were waiting for them to turn 18. Now that's happened, and you still dragging
Yeah.
your feet for whatever
You
reason.
know what I think for me, the thing that's difficult about those like having a specific timeline is the assumption that you can't die
Oh yeah. Mhm.
or something can't happen to me
Yeah.
or the assumption that life is on hold for your plans.
Yeah.
And the arrogance in that bothers me.
Mhm. I didn't even think about that.
And so to me that's also like your religion is not playing a part in that because you don't think there's a higher power or a world that you don't look at the world as tomorrow is not promised. And so I think for women, we look at multiple things, a multitude of things, because this is a
Mhm.
conversation that I have had with my significant other a few different times. And there are things that you can put into place which gives you a little bit of these securities.
Mhm.
But if something happens to you, I don't have any legal rights to do anything as a girlfriend. I don't even have any legal rights to do anything as a fiance.
Yep.
So we had this conversation and about like paperwork, and I said, Jonathan, I mean Joshua is not of the age to make any decisions being your next of kin.
Mhm.
So the person who would decide what you do for your on your deathbed is gonna be your mother.
Mhm.
And she and I have a great relationship, but you don't know what somebody will do when it is their child.
Yeah.
It was the same thing when my brother got into that the real bad accident. Him and he and Courtney had been dating. I think at that point it was like had been 5 years, and when he got into that accident, she was trying to ask questions, and they were like, "Who, who are you?
Right.
Where's his mom?" And so my mother had to ask the questions to then relay it.
Mm. Because they were still engaged.
No,
They weren't.
they weren't even engaged at this
Oh,
point.
okay, okay.
So they living together and paying half the bills and doing all the things.
Mm-hmm.
But God forbid, and then when something has happened to you, I don't have any say so. Not
Yeah.
even just that, and thank goodness he has come through. If you had passed
Yeah.
or were on a respirator and they're like, okay, well, do we leave him this way or pull the plug? And you and I may have had conversations of what you want in your life. But that other person may feel like, no, I'm going to get, like, and I'm
Like
sure.
if Courtney and your brother have had those conversations, but it's your mom
That's
ultimately
like,
that
no,
gets
I'm
to
giving it,
decide.
right. I'm giving
Yeah.
it up to God.
Yeah.
We're just going to have him on the respirator for 6 months.
Right. And
Well, that's
Courtney's
not
like,
what
that's not what
that's
he
not what
would have
he
wanted.
want.
Yeah.
So all these different things can happen within that space, and it happens on the flip side, right? You are having a child with someone, but you're not their next of kin. You that baby's next of kin, but you can't say what happens to me. So now
Yeah.
you got to call my parents to say, hey, in the hospital room, this has happened, and now we need to sign off on a blood transfusion, or we need
Yep.
to sign off on such and
Yep.
such. And before this, she didn't make me the proxy because we thought it was just going to be a smooth whatever. So all of these things happening, and so now the only person that you can make a decision for is your child. But even in that, y'all aren't married.
Mm-hmm.
So the mother really needs to be in most states. If you are not married, that child carries that last name until you sign the birth certificate. So none of these things have happened. So the next of kin is the grandparents. And
Yeah.
so now you're etched out and you in your feelings, but you have had plenty of time. This is somebody that's been, like, let's say you've been together 2, 3, 4 years. You had time to make these adjustments. So, like for us, we did sign some, do some paperwork so that I am the medical um, proxy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, if you're willing to do that,
Yeah. When we went, so interestingly enough, and we family now. The season 3, so I'm gonna tell
okay,
you a little bit of my
right,
business.
okay, a little bit, no biz naive.
And I was the one in my relationship. I was the one that was dragging my feet. Like Judah,
Mm-hmm.
granted he was married before, so like he had to get a divorce and like
Mm-hmm.
go
Mm-hmm.
through all of that. But he was ready to get married. Like
Mm-hmm.
we dated for 6 years before we
Mm-hmm.
got married,
Mm-hmm.
and he was ready to get married. He was like, "Listen, soon as the ink dry,
I'm on it.
I'm ready."
All right.
And I was like, "We don't have to rush. Like, what's the rush?
Yeah.
What are we rushing for? Like, we
Mm-hmm.
got plenty of time."
Yeah.
But to your point, when he got an opportunity to go to Afghanistan, because
Mm-hmm.
he went before I did,
Mm-hmm.
he called me. He was like, "Hey, I got this opportunity. I'm gonna go overseas. I need to, go into weapons training and do all of this, and then I'm gonna leave like in about 90 days." That's when it became like, oh shit, something could really happen to this man. And I'm sitting up here
Playing games.
like you said, thinking we got plenty of time. And if something does happen, his mom would be the one,
Mm-hmm.
or God forbid, his ex-wife be the one,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
And so that was really the thing that kind of made me
Kind of
be like,
put you in gear.
okay, let's do
But
it.
that's easier, I think, for a woman. The mindset is they can see. I think women can see more of the, um, what's it called, mortality of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for men, I think there's just very much of an arrogance of I got plenty of time.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, but maybe it is that women can see that, but I don't know. Just to be honest, I think if he didn't get the job in Afghanistan, I don't know if I would have, because he was in Germany,
Mm-hmm.
and we were engaged for like 2.5 years. He got the job in Germany. I was not pressed to get married. I was
Yeah,
like,
because it's Germany. But somebody go to Afghanistan or Iraq, and then because you hear on the news, the people is dying.
when he went to Germany, I was like, we get married, we get back.
Right.
He was there for 18 months. I'm like, we get married, we get back. But then he got the job in Afghanistan, and now I started to feel like it's a little bit more dangerous over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
Let me get right.
Let me get right.
Yeah.
Let me get right.
I'm telling you, I've seen those situations, and then I've talked to this young lady, and she talked about, so we were at like a cookout or something like that, and she was asked how long she was in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so she, oh, it's been, let's say, 30 years.
Oh wow.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
They've been in a relationship for 30 years. So then somebody was like, but ask her how long she's been married.
Oh wow.
And I was like, well, how long you been married? And she was like, I want to say she said like 6 or 7.
That see, I know some couples like that too.
The level
that have been in a relationship for 25 years and they only been married for 5 years. Like
the
what?
level of, I clutched every, I literally said, and she was like, yes,
Audible gas.
I do not. I usually am not. I just be like, oh, I said, the level. I'm like, okay. So then I said, talk to me. First of all, what made you stay with somebody for that long?
Yeah.
And so she just kind of like, she was like, we were kind of like together, not together, together, not together, like that. I'm talking to other people, but we've always been chit chatty or talking and stuff, but we haven't been like locked in.
Yeah.
Then it was locked in, and it was still nothing's happening, right? And so she was like, I had been at a job that I couldn't stand for a long time, and then one day I woke up and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I just quit my job. And then when I quit my job, she said she then right immediately was able to find another job, find something that she really liked, this, that, and the fourth. And so she had a conversation with herself and was like, if I can just have, I had a security with this job, it helped me take care of my kids, and this, that, and the fourth, blah, blah, blah. And I just left that. Maybe I need to make the same decision about this man. So she said she started doing stuff that she liked. Because he never wanted to, like, she had posted restaurants she wanted to go to, this, that, and the fourth she wanted to go to. And it was just never happening. So she started to be now, because she didn't work weekends, she would go out, and he'd call me like, where you at? Oh, I'm in North Carolina, because they were from South. I'm in North Carolina because I went to this restaurant, or I went to this restaurant, or I'm doing this. And she said to him like, hey, listen, I left a job that I had been at for, let's say, 15 years, and it was the stability and it was all the things, but I was not happy, and I'm not happy in this. And so I think I need to make that same approach, and basically I can't do this anymore.
Right.
Started doing her big one. 6 months later, he proposed.
So the thing about that though is the second part to your initial question is, when you do give that ultimatum, sticking to it, and then in that time frame, what happens if the relationship builds and is even better, right? It's hard.
And then you just be like, okay, it's August. We have, let's say, end up having a baby, or your mom has passed and he has helped you through the funeral arrangements and been there, or, and you know what, and so all these things have happened. So here comes, we're approaching a new year, the engagement has not happened because, let's say, something happened on his side and things just kind of got crazy, but y'all have been there to support each other. So now December is here, you think back to, okay, I have not been proposed to, this, that, and the fourth, the new year has now happened, now we in 2027. Is that the time where you say, okay, I know we've gone through all of those things, and I appreciate you being there, you have been 10 toes down, blah, 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 but because I said this, I have to abide by it.
It's so difficult because on the one hand, I do feel like if you don't stick to what you say,
then you just don't say nothing else,
and they're not gonna take you seriously.
Yeah.
Right. On the other hand, do you dig your heels into, and it's, and like you said, kind of, well, because he ain't do it by this date, we not doing it. But you have gotten better.
Your relationship,
your relationship has gotten better, or you have maybe identified some things where you're like, well, it's probably not the best time right now. He just lost his job. I know he don't have the money or whatever. Like, shit happens, right? I don't know. It's hard because then a part of me feels like, but like you said, shit's always going to happen. Yeah. There's always going to be excuses. There's always going to be, if you look at it that way, there's always going to be a reason not to do it.
Yeah.
And then just thinking about your earlier point, the fact that tomorrow is not promised. So maybe the answer is you do have to stick to your guns because tomorrow is not promised. And yes, our relationship has gotten better, but I know that I want marriage, or I know that I want, something different for my relationship. I know that I want kids. I know that I want whatever it is that you want. And this other person is not moving on that. I think you do. I think you do have to just stick to it and say, listen, if you're not ready and if we're not going in that direction, and if you're not even giving me a plan of how you want to go in that direction.
But that's the problem with even the plans. It's like, oh, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. A lot of times we get a lot of plans, and that's
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, maybe like compromises, right? Because I don't want to negate some of the things that make people feel hesitant. I think for guys, a lot of times it's money.
Mhm.
And that is important, but have a conversation with me then to say, I want to get married, but I can't afford to get you the ring that I know you would want.
Right.
Have that conversation with me. Give me the opportunity to say, okay, cool, let's do this thing. And then when your money, I'll take a Walmart ring for right now. And then when your money gets to where it needs to be, we'll upgrade my ring.
Right. But this is the thing that with that excuse, and to me, it's an excuse because if you know your partner and you've been together 6 or 7 years and have done the 50-50 or have done the this, that, and the fourth, you know well enough what your partner will and will not.
That is true.
Like, so you can say, I want to give you such and such. Okay, you've been wanting to give me a house, but we've been together for 6 years.
Right.
You didn't stop the relationship to say, hey, I need to get my shit together to make sure that I can
Right.
get this house.
Yep.
Nothing has stopped. You didn't say, oh, stop, let's stop doing dates. Let's,
Because
you
I'm trying to
stop,
save up some money.
you stop, uh, washing my clothes, or you
Mm-hmm.
stop cooking me dinner. Stop doing the wifely things because I can't make you a wife today. You
Mm-hmm.
have not said that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's an excuse of I want to have, I want to have.
I want
If
to keep
you
all the
know,
benefits, but I don't want to do what I have to do to make this permanent. Yeah.
if you know your partner, you can get a Walmart ring. You can get don't have you can get a band and just have that to say if it's about the if it's about being married or getting married, you need to know what the difference is in your
Mm.
partner.
You ate that.
Okay? Because if you know your partner wants to get married, then have all those excuses. If you know your partner wants to be married, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. And I think what it really boils down to is communication, right? Because your relationship and your marriage, that's personal. That's between the
Yeah.
two of you. No, like even if it's, hey, you know that I want a nice ring, right?
Mhm.
And I know that you don't have the money right now. So let's go ahead and put our resources together
Mhm.
and get it because that's what I want to have.
Mhm.
Nobody on the outside has to know that that's what y'all did. That's between y'all.
That's not my
And
business.
he could come back and say for a 5 year anniversary, hey, that first ring we went half on it. Here's the money back, or like here's a new one that I paid for on my own. Like
Right.
it's so many different ways that you can address whatever the roadblocks may be to
Right.
get
To get to where
to
you
where
want
you
to
need to
go.
go. Yeah.
And even if it is take a ring shopping and say this is the budget that I have and I need you to let me know what you like within that budget.
Right. Even really understanding that, because I recently had a conversation with a friend of mine. I was with my cousins and we
Mhm.
went and I'll talk about this at another time, but we were at the natural history museum, and we were looking at the stones and different things
Mhm.
like that. So I'm talking with my cousins, and my cousin was saying, she was like, now that we came here and I was able to see all these gems and stones, and she
Mhm.
was like, I would be okay with the sapphire engagement ring. I would be okay with a ruby or whatever.
Right.
And so I'm bringing this up to say, even if you were to have that conversation with your significant other, to even know that maybe they're not pressed for diamonds. So
Right.
you don't even have to spend
Right.
several $1,000s
Right.
because she wants a ruby or she
Yeah.
wants a sapphire.
Exactly.
It's like I feel like people don't have these conversations. They make up in their mind what the issue is,
Mhm. Mhm.
build up all these
Yep.
excuses, and then try to feed you, oh, well, I don't have it right now, or I
Right.
can't do this and that. And it's like, I don't even want that.
Yeah. And the thing is, and if you know your partner is not someone that's going to do the research, send what you want.
Right.
If you're like, you know what your man's finances are. So if you like, I just want something that's, 2,000. I know he can, whatever. We could put that on the card, whatever, whatever. Send it.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. So I guess, are you guys setting up ultimatums for your relationships for
Mm-hmm.
2026? Or I won't say ultimatum, giving a deadline.
Given a deadline, I mean, and it could be a range of things. A deadline to meet your parents, a deadline to have a baby, a
Mhm.
deadline to, if he don't go in within the next 6 months, if we're not in couples therapy, like anything that you're feeling as if it's not happening immediately or in within this time frame, are you, first of all, are you willing to back up what you're saying and roll
Mhm.
out?
Mhm.
Um, if you go and find out you are the problem, how do you handle that?
Ooh.
And what are your thoughts just in general on ultimatums?
Mm. Yeah. Drop down in the comments. I like that. That was a good one.
Yes.
That was a great
Yes, a great
episode.
coming into 2026 episode.
I agree. It's
Make
time to it's time to have them tough
yes, it is
conversations.
time to have those tough conversations because I was just thinking like we are what 6 years from COVID.
Mhm.
Let's get it together.
Yeah. Period.
Let's make sure you
Like, subscribe, hit the notification button, tell a friend to tell a friend,
drop down in the comments,
and
and we'll
we'll
drink
drink
to
to
that.
that.